Project-based learning, or PBL, is an approach where students try to find solutions to a driving question that is based on a real-world challenge. This approach requires students to actively investigate and explore significant content and learn skills that are crucial to the process of answering the driving question. Throughout this video, I'll be mentioning the essential elements of PBL that the Buck Institute for Education, also known as BIE, has developed. BIE is a non-profit organization dedicated in helping teachers use PBL effectively in their classrooms. BIE has divided the PBL process into 4 phases. Here's the flowchart of a PBL project. Let's first start with the launch of the project, the entry event, and the driving question. The entry event is an event that catches the interest of your students about a specific topic. This could be in the form of a video, a lively discussion, a guest speaker, a field trip, or a compelling scenario. The driving question is a clear, open-ended, and intriguing question that gives a sense of what the project is all about. It should be connected to an instructional goal and helps drive exploration. Let's now look at an example. Here's a kindergarten physical science unit that focuses on forces and interactions, pushes and pulls. An entry event for this unit could be the music video, "This Too Shall Pass" by the band OK Go. It captures a working Rube Goldberg machine in one unbroken video shot that ultimately triggers small cannons to shoot paint on the band, and all this while synchronizing with the song. You can find a link to the music video in the description below. The creativity and preciseness of this machine would grab the interest of the students and motivate them to make their own. The driving question for the unit is this: how can you, as an engineer, create a teaching item about Rube Goldberg machines that includes pushes and pulls that changes the speed or direction of objects? How can your machine exhibit your individuality and self-identity? This question sums up the challenge and gives students a sense of purpose. Now for the next phase of the flowchart: building knowledge, understanding, and skills to answer the driving question. This phase focuses on the significant content of the unit. The project should be based on critical knowledge and skills obtained from the key concepts and standards of each discipline that is involved. As for the need to know, students will use the entry event and driving question to find out what they will need to know and the skills they will need to acquire to create the solution to the driving question. The need to know process is student driven, and teachers are there to facilitate and lead them to quality need to know questions. Finally, students will engage in inquiry that involves asking questions, finding and using resources like content experts, websites, articles, and library books. Students will engage in in-depth inquiry to start developing solutions. This does not mean that the teacher would not provide instruction. This phase includes lessons and mini tasks that drive inquiry, but also targets instructional goals. The significant content of our example kindergarten unit are derived from the standards of each subject area involved in the project. Here I listed the next generation science standards for kindergarten physical science, 2-1 and 2. As stated before, the need to know process is student driven, and teachers are there to facilitate and lead them to quality need to know questions. Looking at the driving question, the kindergartners might ask, how can I make things go faster or slower? How can I make something that's moving change directions? What's the best way to teach someone how to make my machine? And what tools should I use? How am I like other people? And how am I different from other people? These questions require knowledge and skills from multiple subject areas, as you can see from this list. The next phase of the project flowchart is develop and revise products and answers to the driving question. Students having voice and choice makes the project more meaningful. This includes how they work, how they use their time, and also what they create. Students can choose to develop media kits, web pages, brochures, or even public service announcements. It is important to note that the amount of voice and choice you give your students really depends on their age level and their PBL experience. The project should also involve critique and revision during the development phase of the product or solution to the driving question. The feedback given by the teacher and their peers should cause students to revise their product or even engage in further in-depth inquiry. When building their product or solution, it is important that students develop 21st century competencies. These include problem solving, critical thinking, collaboration, communication, creativity, and innovation, which are explicitly taught and assessed. These competencies are also involved in other phases of the project flowchart. Now back to our kindergarten unit. For voice and choice, students would get to choose the medium they would like to use to showcase their machine, and also choose how they would like to exhibit their individuality and self-identity with their machine. Their products would need to be critiqued by their teacher and peers so that revisions can be made. During the whole process of creating their product, students will be developing their 21st century competencies. The final phase of the project flowchart is presenting products that answer the driving question. The product or solution to the driving question should be presented to numerous audiences beyond the classroom. These include parents, content experts, and the global community. Presenting their work publicly helps motivate students to create high-quality products. Hope you enjoyed this introduction to PBL. For more information on PBL, please visit the Buck Institute for Education website at bie.org. Information from this video was from the workbook series PBL 101. You can find a link to get your own workbook in the description below. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos on education, and click on the like button if you enjoyed the video.